One of the most exciting things to see with Nintendo's upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 system is exactly what one of their best studios is going to put out on it, and that of course is Monolith Soft. And now we have a bit of an update when it comes to what Monolith Soft is up to, or what they've been doing, and potentially what they could unleash on the Nintendo Switch 2 because of the bolstering of forces here. So we're going to get into that and a bit more when it comes to the big RPG news. But let's start off with this great news that Monolith Soft has continued to up its employee count. They are now sitting at pretty much 300 developers at this point. So you guys all know and love Monolith Soft, but if you don't know what they're about, they are essentially a huge RPG studio for Nintendo. They started off working within Square Enix. They essentially branched off into their own thing with Takahashi at the helm. Then they went into making games like Xenosaga. They made a Dragon Ball Z game. They made all sorts of titles for Bandai Namco. They made some exclusive RPGs as well. And then Nintendo decided back in the mid 2000s to bring them on as a first party developer. They recently purchased 100% of them. They had a certain percentage, then like 96%, and then it recently went up to 100%. And Nintendo has steadily added to their forces over the course of the last nearly 20 years at this point, and it's very good to see. Now, the latest numbers put Monolith Soft's employee count right at 299 developers. That is as of December 2024, and Monolith Soft is continuing to hire for their new Nintendo Switch 2 project. So you can probably expect that count to be over 300 at this point, because we are about 3 months into the year now. So that is definitely really good to see that Monolith Soft is bolstering, because they're going to have a big Nintendo Switch 2 RPG ready. And usually Nintendo likes to show off what Monolith Soft is doing early. You look at the past 2 generations with the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch, Monolith Soft has been at the forefront early and often, especially with the Nintendo Switch, where we got the first look at Xenoblade Chronicles 2 back in the January 2017 presentation. And then throughout the life of the Nintendo Switch, there was a steady dose of Monolith Soft games, whether they were the lead developer on it, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, in addition to all the DLC, Torn of the Golden Country, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Future Redeemed, or they were support studios for big games like Splatoon 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. So Monolith Soft, it's not just for their own games, but it's also the strength and the support around Nintendo's big first-party games as well. And Monolith Soft, they have to have something cooking for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, some people are speculating that we could see that at the April 2nd Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Remember, Monolith Soft's actual last full-scale development game was Xenoblade Chronicles 3 back in 2022. That game actually got moved up a bit because it had already been done. We got leaks and details about the plot and other things late 2021. So that means that somebody already knew or potentially was playing it all the way through and everything. So the game was probably done by the end of 2021. You guys know how efficient Monolith Soft is. So essentially, they've probably been working on that next big new RPG since the end of 2021 or early 2022. Obviously, we're all the way down in 2025. It's been multiple years at this point. So absolutely, there is something that they could show off this year. Now, it might not be at the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. Nintendo might want to hit us with a steady dose of Mario Kart, some third-party and other big first-party games they want to compile for it. But don't be surprised if we see Monolith Soft's new RPG on the Nintendo Switch 2 sometime this year, or even at that April 2nd Direct. They've been known to show up at Nintendo's biggest presentations when it comes to showcasing or detailing what a system can do. Even if you go back 2 generations with the Wii U, that was at that big Wii U Direct with Xenoblade Chronicles X. So it's just something that we know that Monolith Soft and Nintendo like to work together to show the potential of what their system can do if you really got someone that's dedicated to it, and Monolith Soft absolutely is that. But I do want to say, hopefully more of you guys dedicate yourself to subscribing to the channel as well. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell to get the best Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on YouTube. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the next topic here. We're going to be discussing Visions of Mana's director. You guys know Visions of Mana kind of flopped overall, but the director Kenji Ozawa is still moving on in the industry. He's got a brand new studio called Studio Sasankwa. So I hope I said that right. I might have botched it. Now, the new game development studio is based in Shibuya, Tokyo, and their main purpose is to develop and release its own titles for consoles and PC, as well as to produce and cooperate in the development of titles developed by external companies. Quote, "The name comes from the flower that blooms in winter," Ozawa said. "Making games is incredibly rewarding, but it's also incredibly challenging. Games are products, and there are certain things we need to do because of that. I want to create a place where we can face both of these aspects." Now, the company also aims to utilize Ozawa's experience of producing and directing in Japan and China to create content through collaboration with external companies. Now, this is pretty cool. He's got a nice little development trailer and everything, and I'm happy that he's landing on his feet, and he can probably go out there and recruit a lot of the old Visions of Mana developers, maybe poach some off of Square Enix as well, and potentially get something pretty good here. Visions of Mana was a solid title. It's not like it's the best RPG out there, and I don't think it's going to be like a cult classic for many people. I do think that it will be remembered as bringing the Mana series to the newest consoles of development, but it might not be as fondly remembered as the original Secret of Mana or even Trials of Mana. But at the same time, I still think that it's a great game. It got them good experience working on newer systems, and I do feel that this studio will have success because they're not just focused on making sure that they have their own games, but they're also going to be working with other developers as a support studio. So that's going to help them facilitate and get money in to pay the bills. And then when you have your time, you can create your games. You can control the budget. You can kind of do different things in order to make sure that you stay within your means and you stay within what you know how to do best. So I'm really happy for Mr. Ozawa, and I hope his studio takes off and he has a ton of success. Let's go and move on to the next topic here. Speaking of success, let's talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which is going to be a big success in my opinion. I'm predicting it right now. We have a brand new little character creator trailer. It's only 40 seconds long, and it's more like a Twitter video, not really a trailer. But what it does show is all the different aspects and combinations that you can have in Xenoblade Chronicles X character creator. It's pretty cool. They even detail the Pyra hairstyle as well, although she looks a little bit different with the art style in Xenoblade Chronicles X, which the characters, I don't know, they just have a different style to it. So it definitely looks like the Temu Pyra, but at the same time, it's still cool to have that hairstyle for people who do want to play dress up as Pyra, Mithra. I think Malthus is in there. I think Nia's hairstyle's in there as well. So if you want to have that, you have it. But it shows the range of different types of characters that you can create, but then it also shows a little bit of a different gameplay style that you can see in Xenoblade Chronicles X compared to the mainline trilogy. Now, don't get me wrong, it still has the auto attack, still has all of the stuff that you know and love from Xenoblade, but there's a lot of a different vibe and feel to it with the more militaristic weapons that you have. It has more plasma cannons and different types of weaponry that you normally don't see in the mainline trilogy, and it has a bit more of an MMO feel because of the massive open world and how the combat works compared to the original trilogy. Plus, you have online multiplayer. You have a lot of different things that you can do in this game that's very different with the scales and everything. So Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is going to be a fantastic game. I cannot wait to pick it up. It's coming out on March 20th, and I think that there's going to be a lot more people that buy this game on the Nintendo Switch than the Wii U, that's for sure. And I would hope so, because the Nintendo Switch has sold like 10 times plus the amount of the Wii U. So yeah, I would expect there to be a lot more people showing up to support this game this time around compared to round one on the Wii U. Plus, you've got a brand new story intertwined in the main campaign. You've got a ton of quality of life features. You've got stuff to speed up the combat with the quick recast. You've got so many things that make this game better than the original release, and true handheld play this time around. You can take the system anywhere that you want with the Nintendo Switch. The fact that you can play a game this massive, one of the biggest open worlds ever, on a Nintendo Switch Lite just goes to show you how crazy Monolith Soft can be when it comes to developing games, man, because this was originally a Wii U game at the end of the day, and you can make it on this small, tiny little 2015 chip. So it's awesome to see Nintendo showing off more of Monolith Soft than this character creator. But what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. But now let's go ahead and move on to the final topic here, and we're going to discuss the situation that went down with Mario plus Rabbids creator and a little bit of the, I would say, hurtful things, at least according to him, that was said when Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope launched. So Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope co-creator David Solani told VGC in a recent interview that Ubisoft's comments about the sequel underperforming really hurt the team's morale. Solani also confessed that Sparks of Hope was way harder to develop than the original game with its bigger and broader scope. A number of reviews criticized the sequel for its performance issues on the ailing Switch platform. Quote, "The message that we received about how the game was faring was a bit hurtful for the morale of the team because we just finished working for 3.5 years and we were super committed to creating a very good game. So, of course, it was not the kind of message that we wanted to receive back in those days. It was a bit hurtful, but nothing crazy. I think it's normal. Every development team is proud of what they are doing and always searching for encouraging words, which in that situation was maybe needed. It was a bit harsh on the team, but nothing that we didn't solve by talking internally back when we were in the company. Because the first one was a big success, Sparks of Hope was way harder to develop than Kingdom Battle. There was too much overthinking about it all around me. It was a wonderful experience because I always loved working with Nintendo and I always will." So I want to talk about this last part because of what he says. There was so much going on with the game. I think they had pressure to try to deliver and give them bigger and better and more evolved different types of way of gameplay, but it always goes back to what Nintendo told them, what Nintendo told Ubisoft, and they told Ubisoft, no, hold up, wait, don't release Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope on the Nintendo Switch 1, wait and put it on the Nintendo Switch 2. You can have a big brand new platform to put the game on. You can have stronger hardware, so it'll be able to support your ambitions because there was performance problems. There was loading issues in terms of how long it took to load just getting into battles. There were these issues that definitely could have been fixed if you simply waited for the Nintendo Switch 2. Ubisoft did not listen. I'm not sure if David Solani or the other team was part of that decision to go forward with a sequel on the Nintendo Switch 1, but that greed for them definitely cost them quite a bit. I do think that if they would have waited and supported Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle on the Nintendo Switch 1 with more DLC or content, maybe even an online update for the game, new versions, whatever the case is, and continued selling that one, they could have done really well because the original game sold multiple millions, 5-6 million plus, something like that. I know they said they had over 10 million players, but in terms of actual just people who bought the game, it definitely was a 5 million plus seller. So a massive success and a lot of money coming in. They could have easily just put out more content and DLC for the game and kind of rided that out for the Nintendo Switch 2, but they were really looking to get that huge payday again on the Nintendo Switch 1, then probably even bundle it together with the first game on the Nintendo Switch 2 for another payday. So it does seem like they tried to skip a step there and get that extra money, and Nintendo told them not to do that because of people's purchasing habits on the Nintendo Switch 1 with Mario games, and essentially they didn't listen and all of this happened, and then David Solani left along with a bunch of other people from that studio. And once again, the comments were a bit hurtful, their morale was down, like there's all sorts of things here. So I guess like the moral of the story is sometimes less is better at first. You didn't need to necessarily push out that game for the Nintendo Switch 1 again and then have those issues, and then people are like, oh, well, I'm already playing Mario plus Rabbids, it's way cheaper, why am I going to spend 60 bucks on this? Now, they did ultimately end up selling 3 million plus copies, so it's not like it was a complete failure overall, and Ubisoft didn't say like the game lost them money, so I'm guessing it was still profitable, but it just took a bit more time when they were expecting it to be a lot bigger with a bigger install base, at least at launch, compared to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So very unfortunate that it worked out the way that it did, but at the end of the day, it is what it is at this point. So what do you guys think overall about everything that we discussed? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.